Sometimes I struggle too with like what is the outside of the house and what is the inside of the house. And like, let's say we go to a house and it's like a really classic traditional exterior, but then the client doesn't actually really love that, what they want to do on the inside. They don't want to touch the outside. It's maybe outside of their budget or the scope at the time, but they want the inside and they want it to be so modern. You know, like how do you guys tackle that? I mean, that to me is I think it can be done, but it's a tricky one for me.
I like that. I like the surprise people, the element of seeing something unexpected on the inside, because the outside may be traditional, but it has a quality to it. It's sort of built well, and it's got, will have a nice finish to it. And when you walk inside, maybe you're not focusing on the fact that it's modern. The first thing you might focus on might be that there's all this light coming in, and there's this openness which perhaps you didn't expect. I mean, that contrast between the older and the newer can actually bring new light to both of them. I just really like that element of contrast.
Contrast, and it's just sparked a thought in me too. Contrast, I mean, that's so important, I think, in how we design, having contrast in elements, contrast in spaces, the feeling of the spaces, like even like from light to dark, or dark to light, or small to big.
And that sort of thought process first occurred to me from a young age, when I would visit, back in London, I would visit some older buildings, like it could be the British Museum, and for example, and then when modern changes were made, when modern renovations were done, like the Sackler Gallery, for example, is one that comes to mind, and you saw this really old, beautiful old stone, and right next to it, like a sheet piece of glass or a beautiful stainless steel handrail, and you saw these two elements together. Like, to me, I just love the combination of the old and the new.
Yeah.
It just has, there's a lot of like really famous worldwide examples that are known, like the Louvre, and the glass pyramid is just another big scale example. But for me, I like the juxtaposition of the new and the old.
It's like a tension.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, on a micro level, obviously on a residential Vancouver sort of.
Right, we're not designing a Louvre.
We're not designing a Louvre for the British Museum. But I think it's a great point that being able to marry the two together, and then walking into the space and what you bring to it, all the images that you've seen, all the places that you've been to, your own culture, as you come in and reimagine the space, whether it might be to perhaps open up the ceiling or open up the roof and have a vaulted roof, whereas otherwise a flat ceiling can bring and compress space. Likewise, when you're entering a sort of front door, if it is kind of compressed, you can actually open out into the space, and where you can feel like there are certain restrictions that Vancouver have in terms of heights and ceilings and all those things that you can really take advantage of, being able to sort of compress and release.
Yes, I love that.
And I think I like to sort of see the space as well, and be able to bring an aspect of what does the structure look like? What do the bare bones look like? And I think there can be something really aesthetically pleasing and surprising by taking it back to and then refurbishing what was perhaps once was there.